Sindel Wallace helps organizations improve company culture and call center productivity. A best-selling author, mindfulness coach, hypnotherapist, and expert in emotional wisdom, Wallace is also a former call center associate. Her unique approach to call center engagement empowers individuals to engage in new ways. Wallace's strategies will empower a company's associates to take control of their emotions in even the most frustrating situations, improving their lives and the company's job satisfaction rates. So, Sindel, your signature message has this feel bad, distract cycle part that you came up with, and I just love it. And you talk about a car being stuck in a rut, and that analogy I think we can all really identify with. So share some of your signature message with this audience today.
Yes, and thank you so much, Nina, for the wonderful introduction. It's an absolute honor to be here today. And I'm really excited to talk about emotional wisdom and to talk about this feel bad distract cycle. One of my life philosophies is to know thyself, because I believe that when we can understand ourselves and why we do the things that we do, we're able to have this awareness. And when we have awareness, we're able to understand. And with understanding, we're able to heal these things. And then we're also able to overcome any obstacles that are in our way. And by doing that, we're really creating space between us and our actions. And when we create this space between us and our actions, we step into mindfulness and being more present in everyday life. And so that is what I'm really excited to share with you all today. Now, before we go into the feel bad distract cycle, it's really important to understand a little bit about emotional wisdoms, because all feelings are good. Yes, even the bad feelings such as sadness and loneliness and boredom, anger, guilt, inadequacy, stress, and fear. Those feelings are there to motivate you to take action, to satisfy a need, want, or a desire. But one of the problems is that we don't always know what the feelings are trying to motivate us to do. An analogy that I like to share is our feelings can kind of be like a GPS, where we have a GPS and we put in the address and it's going to help us get from point A to point B. But what happens when we have a GPS that's speaking a foreign language? It's speaking Greek to us, and we don't know what it's trying to motivate us to do. And so this is how our feelings can be. So as if that we have this foreign language that's trying to motivate us to do all of these different things, but we just don't always know the right action to take. So that's why I want to introduce the feel bad distract cycle. And many of us are stuck in this cycle, are familiar with this cycle because we have been in it ourselves, or maybe we've also seen others go through it as well too. And so one important thing to understand about our brain is that it's going to do everything that it can to move us away from discomfort and towards pleasure. And if we're not consciously choosing that, our brain is going to do it for us. And that's not always the most productive when wanting to obtain our goals. So the feel bad distract cycle. We feel bad, and then since our brain is going to do everything it can to move us towards pleasure, and if we aren't taking a satisfying action, we're going to distract. And so some distractions can be eating, drinking, smoking, spending money, gambling, burying ourselves in work, even working out too much, or even spending too much time on social media. So we feel bad and we distract ourselves. And we feel good, maybe for a few minutes, maybe even a little bit longer, depending on what we're doing. And then eventually what begins to happen is that bad feeling begins to slowly creep back, because that distraction is not a satisfying action to really satisfy what that feeling is trying to motivate us to do. So we feel bad, we distract, we feel good for a few minutes, and then we start to feel bad again, sometimes even worse, because of a little thing that I like to call guilty residue. And so then it's like as if we're driving and we have our GPS and our GPS is not working, it's speaking a foreign language to us. And now because we are distracted and we are becoming distracted, this is when we begin to get stuck into a rut. So now we're stuck in this rut. And now it's not we only feel bad. Now that's also compounded by frustration because what we're doing is not working. And what's really important to understand about frustration is that frustration is a secondary feeling. Frustration is also there, is a call for creativity. Because what we've been doing is that we've been spinning our wheels, going around and around in circles, and just making this rut even deeper and deeper and deeper. Because we are not taking the satisfying action for the primary feeling. And so now at this point, we are stuck in this rut, just spinning our wheels, going deeper and deeper and deeper. And then what happens next is that we feel bad, frustrated, and now that gets compounded by depression. And it's really important to understand with depression, the type of depression that I'm talking about is not a chemical imbalance depression. This is a natural, normal, and healthy depression that all humans experience at some point in their life. Depression is nature's safety valve. So it motivates us to stop doing what we've been doing because obviously it has not been working. So depression is there to motivate us to take a rest. And what's really interesting too, if we look at the word depressed, we break that apart, deep rest. So depression is there to motivate us to get some deep rest, to take a break, and to go do something different. So for an example, with us being stuck at this point in our journey, we have now maybe hit that point of natural healthy depression. So we stop spinning our wheels. Then maybe at this point, it would be a good idea to either take a couple deep breaths, maybe even get out of the car and go for a walk, or maybe call someone for help, call a family member, a friend, or maybe call someone who's going to be able to help you get you out of that emotional rut. And on that note, it's really important if you feel that you are in this space to reach out because you're never alone and to reach out to get help, to get an outside perspective, to help us get out of this rut. Now, at this point, we've now stopped spinning our wheels, taking that deep breath or calling a friend or calling someone to help us get us out of the emotional rut. And when we get out of the emotional rut and we begin to satisfy the primary feeling that caused this whole thing to begin with, that is when we can truly feel free. This is truly when we can feel satisfied and move into a more meaningful life. Because again, it's important to understand that all feelings are good because they are there to motivate you to meet a need, want, or desire. So I truly hope that from today's short presentation that the Feel Bad Distract cycle is able to help you create space and cultivate mindfulness in your everyday life to again create space between you and your actions. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much for being here. Take care and breathe deeply. Thank you.
Thank you, Zembel. And yes, breathe deeply. We could all use that. And I love that you have crafted this message in a way that people who work in call centers can hear it because it's so obviously it happens a lot there with this constant calls and the changes, and they're working from home now, some of them, and they're working back in those spaces soon, and it's all going to be new and different. So I think it's such a wonderful message. And you tell some pretty interesting and kind of clever, funny stories about things that happen in call centers that only call center people would really relate to, which is very fun as well.
Yep,
So thank you. Yeah. It's a great message, and it's going to help so many people. So thank you so much for sharing it with us today. I look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Thank you.